Ladies and gentlemen, you may now take your seats.
Thinking about what our future is going to be like and trying to predict it. We don't need to predict it, we just need to invent it. Because it's people who invent the future.
When you take these two things, agriculture and water, and the other technologies that we apply in both, we can change the world. We are.
I think it's possible for ordinary people to choose to be extraordinary.
It's not the technology that changed the world. It's the dreams behind the technology that changed the world.
The future doesn't belong to the faint-hearted. It belongs to the brave.
Stay hungry, stay foolish.
Please welcome our moderator, Mr. Dror Globerman.
Good evening everybody, and welcome to the opening night of the Prime Minister's Israeli Innovation Summit, led by the Ministry of Culture and Sport and in collaboration with the Paris Center for Peace and Innovation. We're honored to be here with Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and Mrs. Sarah Netanyahu, His Excellency Wang Qishan, Vice President of the People's Republic of China, together with the honorable delegation of Chinese government members, and Minister of Culture and Sports Miri Regev, Minister of Economy and Industry Eli Cohen, Jack Ma, founder and president of Alibaba Group, Dr. Eric Schmidt, technical advisor and board member of Alphabet, and many others. We're excited to open the summit, which is not just a celebration of Israeli innovation, but also provides insights into the topics of the forefront of current research and human discovery. I'm honored to invite the Prime Minister of Israel, Mr. Benjamin Netanyahu, to open this special event.
Vice President Wang, Qishan, we've had an extraordinary visit. The ministers from China and from Israel, Minister of Sports and Culture Miri Regev, and Minister of Economy Eli Cohen, and all the representatives of the Israeli government who are here. My friends Eric Schmidt and Jack Ma, the distinguished guests and business leaders who are here. This is an important event, this innovation conference, because something is happening here when the vice president of one of the world's greatest economies is here, and when two leaders of two of the small companies of the world are here, two of the top 10, then you know something is happening here. Now, what is happening here is innovation. We think that innovation is new, but it isn't new. It's the spark. And when I say it's the spark, I mean exactly that. That was the first innovation. Because somebody saw a fire and decided that they could replicate this fire. They could take the fire that changed human life. And then somebody else, we call these people entrepreneurs, by the way, somebody else then decided that instead of living in a cave, you can create your own shelter anywhere else, not necessarily in a cave. That was an entrepreneur. Then somebody decided, somebody thought about it, that said, I don't have to go and chase animals. I can raise crops. That was an entrepreneur. And then somebody decided that to move things around, you can take a log and roll it. That was an entrepreneur. And then somebody else decided you can cut a piece of the log and make it into a wheel. That was an entrepreneur. All of human history, all of progress has been put forward because of entrepreneurs who innovate. The past belongs to innovators, contrary to what people think. And the future belongs to those who innovate. Israel is the innovation nation. We want to innovate with you, all of you, from around the world. This is our mission. Now, what is happening now is that the pace of innovation is accelerating, and it's accelerating in geometric form. Here is, I'm going to show 3 slides, don't worry. 3 slides, that's it. No more, 3 slides. Okay. Can you show the first slide? First, the 10 largest companies. Do you have that? Well, there it is. Okay. 10 largest companies in 2007, and the 10 largest companies 10 years later. In 2007, are you clapping for 2007 or for 2017? In 2007, the energy companies in black dominate the field. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And only one IT company. Only one. Look forward in a heartbeat. Never seen anything like it. All the energy companies are gone from the top list. And you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 IT companies, 2 financial investments, 3 actually, And interestingly enough, you see two Chinese companies emerging for the first time, certainly not the last. This is a tremendous change. What is this change? This change is the meeting of big data, artificial intelligence, and connectivity. This speeds up and accelerates change and innovation in every field of human endeavor. We think we've seen it all. We haven't seen anything. We haven't seen anything yet. It's just beginning. In Israel, all these companies, these 10 companies, are represented with major research institutions. In fact, we have, you can applaud. You can applaud Israeli ingenuity. In Israel, we have 300 multinational R&D centers, and they reflect the innovation power of the people of Israel. Specifically, we're changing the world in 3 areas that I'd like to tell you now. We've already changed it in IT. If you hold a cell phone, who doesn't hold a cell phone except me? I'm the only one who doesn't. I'll explain to you later why I don't do it. Okay? But anyone who holds a cell phone holds a piece of Israel in that cell phone. So we've helped revolutionize the world in IT, but specifically today, I want to talk about 3 areas very briefly that we are changing the world. The first one is transportation. In transportation, we try to have a car industry. Here's the car industry. That's the car industry. Believe it or not, I drove that car. I mean, something like it. It was called Susita, which means, in Hebrew, horse. It was about as good as a horse. It was made out of fiberglass, and as a young officer, I leaned in one of these things, and my elbow went right through. We couldn't compete because to compete in cars, you needed scale for chassis, for engines, for tires, and so on. Obviously, all these companies that we tried to create went bankrupt. But now, 50 years later, we have a car industry, a very powerful car industry, because cars now are fast approaching a situation where 85% of the value of the car is going to be software. It's basically a computer on wheels. Now we can compete. So we have 500 companies in Israel's smart mobility industry. One of them, Eric, I have to say, you really bamboozled these guys. You bought Waze for $1 billion. What a joke. I mean, successful joke. Yes, I think it's worth a little more now. And Intel just acquired Mobileye for $15 billion. And more importantly, Intel decided to give Mobileye the headquarters here in Jerusalem for some 30 of its worldwide autonomous vehicle businesses. This is changing the world because I don't think we're going to see cars as we see them today. I think we'll have a lot of capsules. There'll also be private cars as we understand them. We're moving into networking. We can save on gas. We can save on pollution. We can save on road accidents. We can change pollution in cities. This is a very important development. Israel is changing the world in that. The second one is something that we're doing in water. The whole world needs water. We are making a big change in water management through technology. We're working in projects in China, in India. We can use that technology to give water to a thirsty world. And water technology is essential because we don't have enough of it. And the main thing that we have discovered is that we can just produce more of it. And Israel is very gifted in doing more with less. And finally, the third area that we're dealing with, of many, I think is the most exciting of them all, which is digital health. Does anyone not want to live longer? Is there anyone here? No. Does anyone here not want to live healthier lives? Obviously. Well, we're taking Israel's data bank that encompasses 98% of our citizens, and we're going to, that's medical records computerized for the last 20 years, and we're going to take a subset of that, 100,000 people, and take their saliva tests, so we have DNA samples, and then we're going to have another layer in this database of 2,000 who we're going to track their physical exercise. And taking this 3-layer database, We're going to run algorithms on it. And we think we can do wonders for preventive medicine, personalized medicine, new drugs, new treatments. This is a very powerful tool. Today, the Vice President and I saw some other advanced industries that are using crowd computing or the cloud or big data, AI, and connectivity, and the possibilities are literally endless. So there is a change in the world. Israel is at the forefront of this change. This change is called innovation, and the rate of change is accelerating. We're investing into R&D about 5% of our GDP. It's the highest in the world. Our GDP is somewhat smaller than China's, I have to tell you that. But we put a big effort into that because we believe that this is the engine of the future. We have the highest rate of VC investment as a percent of GDP, and we believe that with some 4,000 startups that we have, we can actually not only change Israel, but truly lead to the betterment of mankind. We have today an opportunity to recognize some of these countries, some of these companies, and I'm delighted to award the Prime Minister's Innovation Award to 3 innovative Israeli companies, 3 startups that are contributing to the digital revolution. The first one is Imagine. It's the first automated genetic interpretation platform. I don't even know what that is, but I think it's great. Well, I do know. It's not quite as bad as I described. The second one is Dumatok, which is a food tech startup that has a patented sugar reduction solution. Even if I don't understand it, I need it. And the third one is Unbound Tech that provides protection for private data. We all need that. So these companies and thousands more are revolutionizing the way we live. How did Israel, I was asked that question many times, including in the last 2 days, how did Israel, with a few natural resources, a small population, surrounded by enemies in not the most tranquil region in the world, how did it become such a force of innovation? Well, there are many reasons. But if I have to give the Israel Innovation Prize to one person, one historic person, I would give it to Charles de Gaulle. Because Charles de Gaulle, the president of France, decided to put an arms embargo on Israel right before the 1967 war. And so we all of a sudden found ourselves without a source of high technology that was important for our survival. And as a result, we accelerated the development of our military technological industries. And that's where the story began. It just began. It flew up. And we developed a capacity for technology through the military that harnesses the talents of all our people, because this is what we look and what we scan. We take the brightest brains and we put them into our military services, and the brightest of the brightest go into technology-related areas. Of course, these people then come out, and here's the second thing we had to do. Technology without markets doesn't take you very far. Markets with technology take you the distance. And so the second task we had to accomplish after we developed a capacity for technology is to develop a capacity for markets. I've been involved in this effort for the last few decades. And as we opened up the Israeli markets, what we saw is a technology boom of unprecedented proportions. In many ways, the same is happening in China and in other parts of the world that are doing the same. So the second thing is free markets or freer markets. The third thing is the exceptional universities that we have, and we met with some of the representatives of these universities and research institutions that are just amazing. And the closer they are great theoretical institutions, but they move also close to technology and markets. So I believe that the combination of these three and our culture, which the Vice President and I discussed, the culture, the culture of excellence, the culture of scholarship, the culture of seeking solutions, practical solutions, never being satisfied with what you have. By the way, I can tell you as the Prime Minister of Israel that the Israeli people are never truly satisfied with what they have. And that is what makes us a great country. They're happy, but they want to be happier. They're satisfied, but they want to be even more satisfied. And this constant quest for improving, constant quest for innovation makes us what we are. So, although Israel's achievements are great, we cannot afford to rest on our laurels. And again, change is moving at an extraordinarily rapid pace, and we must remain competitive. Our vision, and my vision, is to sustain Israel as a global technological force. First, the vision was to make it a global technological force. Now the mission is to keep it as a global technological force. I believe that this capacity for technology not only changes Israel, not only helps us in the world, and we're opening up to the entire world, because the entire world wants our technology for security, for fighting terrorism, but more and more civilian technology for improving the lives of people everywhere. Hundreds of millions of people, billions of people, whose lives are being improved by Israeli technology. But I think it's also a force for peace. We're going to discuss that tomorrow at the Paris Center. But there is a palpable change. We have growing ties with Arab countries. And although people assume, correctly, that these ties are based on common threats, they're also increasingly based on common opportunities. The attractiveness of Israeli know-how innovation that can bring water and health and communications and so many other areas to the Arab peoples of the Middle East. Technology and innovation is a force for peace. So I have two messages this evening. One, a message to Israel. We're going to continue making Israel a force among the nations, a global technological force for the betterment of lives here in Israel and for others around the world. And I have a very brief message to the world. The message is, partner with Israel. Partner with Israel for your sake and for our common sake and for our common future. Thank you all for coming here. You're wonderful, wonderful friends, and we have a wonderful future together. Thank you all. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Prime Minister Netanyahu, for this eye-opening talk. I learned quite a lot. If you ever want to choose your first smartphone, you can give me a call. I could help. I now have the honor of inviting His Excellency Wang Qishan, Vice President of the People's Republic of China.
Prime Minister Netanyahu, ladies and gentlemen, dear friends, it is my pleasure to attend the opening of the Israeli Innovation Summit. On behalf of the Chinese government, let me extend warm congratulations on the opening of the summit and sincere appreciation to Prime Minister Netanyahu for his gracious invitation. This is the first time I visited Israel. I'm here mainly to co-chair with Prime Minister Netanyahu the fourth meeting of the China-Israel Joint Committee on Innovation Cooperation. This afternoon, we had in-depth discussions and reached a lot of common understandings on innovation cooperation. The establishment of this cooperation mechanism on innovation reflects our two countries' shared commitment to innovation and a salient feature of our bilateral ties. Israel is a country famous for its innovation. For decades, committed to strengthening the nation through innovation, Israel has made remarkable achievements. Its universities, scientific research institutes, enterprises, and other innovators have worked effectively together and built an organic system for innovation and startup, which gave Israel a strong scientific and industrial advantage in modern agriculture, biomedicine, medical equipment, and information communication. China is equally committed to innovation, which we believe is the primary of development. The 40 years of reform and opening up has seen China opening its mind for reform, innovation, and we have innovation front and center in our new said we are sober-minded that China remains a big developing country. To achieve our two centenary goals and the Chinese dream of the great renewal of the Chinese nation, we must build an innovative country. Despite the progress China has made in innovation, we're still a follower. And we have a long and difficult journey ahead of us. In order to become we will stay committed to innovative-driven development. China now ranks the second in the world in terms of R&D investment. 7.5 trillion RMB in seventh. We will such investment in order to achieve even greater progress in the new generation of information technology, aviation, space, maritime engineering, energy, materials, advanced machinery manufacturing, and other key areas. We'll continue to invigorate innovation by deepening reform, strengthen institution building for science and technology, give the innovators, scientists, researchers a greater sense of fulfillment, and allow businesses to play a bigger role as the main source of innovation. We'll continue to invest entrepreneurship and innovation. By the end of 2017, China has built 4,298 makerspace, 3,255 incubators for tech firms, more than 400 accelerators, and 156 high-tech zones, thus creating an ecosystem that covers the entire life cycle of businesses. Continue to advance the rule of law, ensure market order, protect and unlock the enthusiasm and creativity of scientists, researchers, and the society. Thanks to such efforts, the number of enforced Chinese patents has tripled over the past 5 years. The similar visions and the complementarity between China indicate great potential for innovation. Last March, President Xi announced the establishment of the China-Israel Innovative Comprehensive Partnership, bringing our bilateral ties to a new height. Thanks to our China-Israel cooperation on innovation is taking shape, the mechanisms are being improved, and important gains are being made in our cooperation on green agriculture, water resources, and joint R&D. By the end of last year, stock of direct investment in Israel totaled $4.15 billion, and our trade last year was more than 260 times of what we had in 1992 when we first established diplomatic ties. Ladies and gentlemen, we live in an age where innovation drives development and calls for cooperation. The global innovation landscape is shifting profoundly. The cross-border flow of innovation factors and global allocation of innovation resources has become a prevailing trend. In this new era, only those will thrive and prosper.
发达国家才能保持经济活力，发展中国家资源贫国，中小国家才能发掘自身的潜能，提升在全球经济的地位。任何一个国家和企业都不能依靠自身力量解决所有的创新难题，因此不合作就没有出路。创新成果要及时实现市场转化，否则就会变成博物馆的文物。1个多月前，我到江苏考察了中艺常州创新园。中医企业发挥各自优势，把设想变为产品，实现互利共赢，给我留下了深刻印象。中国有大量的高素质劳动者，庞大的国内市场，相对充裕的资本，较强的产业化能力，是同各国进行创新合作的广阔舞台。创新合作关键在于取长补短，懂得乐，并乐于互利互惠，要根据各自发展阶段资源禀赋比较优势，找准合作领域，达成符合各自利益的合理安排。通过多层次、多形式的合作，细牢利益纽带，共享创新成果，形成协同发展，打造全球产业链、创新链和价值链。创新合作需要合理高效的机制保障，要根据彼此需要，搭建促进联合研发、产业发展、创业合作的有效平台，特别是向合作企业和人员提供更多实际便利，促进大学、科研机构间的交流合作。要让创新资源在各国间实现最优配置，使合作走实走深。创新合作越深入，就越需要加强知识产权保护。有人指责中国偷窃技术，这完全是捕风捉影。中国坚定执行知识产权保护制度，保障中外所有创新主体在知识产权上的合法权益，并做出了不懈努力。这不仅是中国对合作的需要，也是建设创新型国家的内在需求。中国重组了国家知识产权局，增强了其职能，并已采取多种措施营造公开、透明、高效、平等的市场环境。相信这将促进中国同各国进一步开展创新合作。女士们、先生们、朋友们，中国开放的大门不会关闭，只会越开越大。希望所有国家以更开放、更积极的姿态开展对华合作，同中国成为创新发展道路上的同行者。我们热忱欢迎各国科学家、企业家和技术人才到中国创新创业，施展才华。最后，祝本届峰会圆满成功。谢谢大家。
Thank you.
最后，我要学学内塔尼亚胡总理的创新演讲方式。刚才内塔尼亚胡总理做了一个声情并茂的演讲，无论是语言还是声音还是肢体动作，都表现出是一个非常娴熟的政治家。表演艺术家，这是我在下面切身的感受。 我本来想扔掉稿子学习它，后来我觉得我缺乏这种能力和勇气。
Try to speak the way he did, but I don't have the courage or the ability to do that, unfortunately.
今天下午啊，我和内塔尼亚胡总理单独聊天的时候，还特别说到了一个问题。他说：“刚才你看到的我们一个企业家，他是原来战斗机的飞行员，因为他是飞行员，他就有胆。”后来我说中国古话，这个人才呀，必须是胆识俱佳。内塔总理听了以后完全同意我的看法。实际上，创新既需要识，还必须有胆。所以我们政府才一定要对创新营造一个什么？就是容忍失败，甚至可以鼓励失败。在这一方面，以色列政府做的比我们要好一些，我们要向他们学习，是吧？所以我借这机会啊，我其实今天出席啊，就是应总理先生的邀请，我是来捧场的。我的定位很清楚。不用手机的人是创新的。用手机的人有时候创不出来。谢谢大家。
Thank you for these kind words, His Excellency Wang Qishan, Vice President of the People's Republic of China. You have indeed captured the core of Israeli heart, and I can assure you that Israelis show mutual interest in China and in Chinese people. And now to the artistic part of the evening, please welcome singer Daniela Lugassi.